Cheesehead TV brings you two guys who like to think they know something about football.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Packer Transplants Live. I am Aaron Nagler, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Corey Behnke, my partner here at Cheesehead TV. I'm coming to you from Cheesehead TV, New York. Corey joins us live from across the street at Lambeau Field. We are ready to talk some Packers. What do we have on tap today, Corey?
Today, we come to grips with a huge injury and get ready for another showdown with the Bears. But right now, it's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. We got the good, we got
Josh Jacobs.
We got the bad, we got
Dropped interceptions.
We got the ugly, we got
Injuries, so many fucking injuries. Oh my God, I hate it. I hate it so much. We were feeling so good after that game last week against the Bears, and then we go to Denver and everybody gets injured. But enough about that. Corey, how you doing? How's life there in Green Bay, Wisconsin? Yeah,
good. You know, it was obviously a depressing Sunday, and then I sat in the shower for like 30 minutes and thought it was depressed, and then I literally was like, wait a second, we got a quarterback. And that's all you need in this NFL. A lot of times.
That's a fair point. That is a very fair point.
We've proven as a team many times in our history that having the best quarterback is the way to win. So
it's a big component. Yeah, it's a big component to winning in the NFL, no question about it. And the Packers do have one of the best quarterbacks in the game, despite the end of that game, which was frustrating to say the least. We'll obviously get into that more as we go along here. First off, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Nicolay Law. This episode of Packer Transplants is sponsored by Nicolay Law, personal injury lawyers for the Midwest. They're not some out-of-state firm. Nicolay Law is local. They live and work in the same communities they serve, and they understand what matters to their neighbors. When you've been injured and life feels overwhelming, you want someone who shows up, listens, and knows how to get results. That's what Nicolay Law does. They take on the stress and deal with the insurance companies so you don't have to. Injured? Get Nicolay. Call 1-855-NICOLAY or visit nicolaylaw.com and work with a team the Midwest trusts. Okay, folks, like we indicated, there's a lot to get to, a lot of unfortunate news to get to. But first, as we always do, we got to start with the hotness. Let's get to it. For the hotness. Obviously, there are a ton of really fun, hot plays in this game against the Broncos, but I got to go with Josh Jacobs skying over the linebacker for his touchdown reception. Look at him high-pointing the ball here like he's Randy Moss in his prime. That's an outstanding play. That's the hotness for that game in Denver. Phenomenal stuff from Jacobs, who, in addition to that reception, obviously had the big touchdown run, averaged like 6.1 yards per carry. Just a great day at the office from Jacobs, and they're going to need more of that against the Bears on Saturday night. Saturday game, Corey. How you feeling about a Saturday night game between the Packers and Bears?
Double Saturdays, I don't like it. I think the NFL
that's the other thing. They got a Saturday right after that, right? Which at least keeps it on schedule.
We're getting into this place where I think the NFL has too much power and Congress should take some of it back. I really do. Like, it's ridiculous. Like this, we're going to get to a place where every game will be a flex and you won't know when the game is until 3 days before the game, and only rich people with private jets will be able to watch the game.
That feels like it's still a ways away, but yeah, we're certainly trending towards something like that.
We're driving towards. It's crazy. Like think about. Like I think about. Like I made all my travel plans for especially the Ravens game, the 27th, 28th, where you assume it's going to be on the 28th. You got shit to do. You travel. I mean, think about just normal people, right? Getting a flight, right? I'm getting a flight, and then they changed it like 5 days ago. Well, imagine trying to change your flight Like, and how much that's going to be. You know what I mean? It's just like it's kind of insane. To be able to switch a day, I think, is a little bit insane. But whatever. It's
a bit much. It's a bit much.
We're just here. We're just here at the whim of the NFL.
We are pawns in the game, Corey. That's all we are, as you know.
It's true.
Yeah, we are just pawns in the game of life when it comes to the NFL. And yeah, the Packers taking on the Bears on a Saturday for only the second time in their history. Fun fact: the last time the Packers and Bears met on a Saturday, Vince Lombardi's Packers beat George Halas's Bears in 1964 at Wrigley Field, so also in Chicago, by the score of 17-3. So
you know why I hate stats like this? I'm going to bring up another stat.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay, this is exactly why I hate stats like this, and they make me crazy.
Okay.
In 2007, the Green Bay Packers had never lost an NFC championship game at home.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yes, correct. And then they did. I'm just saying it's wild that they've never played on a Saturday except for one time.
It had been 50 years. Well, a lot of that's because of college, right? Because of
Very much so.
Because there's college, and then also the Friday they were limited to do Fridays in a certain window, and
they've stayed away from Friday forever because of high school football. Obviously.
I think by law, there's some kind of law. There's some kind of law that they have to stay away.
There's a law on the books.
There's a certain window, yeah.
Yep, correct. They have to let things play out on both those schedules. But hey, man, here we are on a Saturday night at Soldier Field, and the Packers will be without arguably their best player in Micah Parsons. Let's get to some Packers news. The headline, of course, this week is Micah Parsons did indeed suffer that ACL injury when he went down to the ground in Denver. You hate to see it. Having a phenomenal year, heartbeat of the defense. He was officially placed on injured reserve right before we went live. Packers announcing it legitimately about 10 minutes ago. So his season is over. But as he took to social media, and we'll cover later in Blogosphere, he has a plan to return. Very excited for that return. I know Jeff Hafley was just meeting with the media talking about just wait to see how this guy attacks his rehab. Hafley saying he expects him to come and break the single-season sack record next year. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The clock is ticking for Micah Parsons' return next year from a torn ACL, which you hate to see. Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. Elsewhere on the injury front, on the butcher's bill, as it were, Evan Williams suffered a sprained MCL. He was talking to reporters in the locker room today, talking about how he is considering himself day to day. But I know Jeremy Fowler with ESPN reported that the expectation is he will probably miss a couple of weeks, which obviously sucks, especially against a Bears team that loves to run the football. We all saw how effective he was in helping kind of limit their run game in Lambeau a couple weeks ago. Big shoes to fill there. So thankfully it's not season ending. He's not shut down for the year, but he probably will miss this game Saturday night and potentially the Ravens game as well, which sucks. But like I said, at least it's not something long term. Flipping it over though, Corey, some good news for you here today. Christian Watson was not only back at practice today after being in the hospital in Denver on Sunday. He, talking to reporters after practice, said he expects to play on Saturday night in Chicago. Clearly, that's a huge, huge deal. Monster difference if he's there or not as far as how the offense operates. We've seen that. It's a very stark difference. Excited to have him out there, clearly. There's a lot of guys that we don't know much about, including Zach Tom, which hopefully we'll get some clarity on by the end of the week, by, I would say, tomorrow afternoon when they have to have their final injury report out. But right now, very touch and go for a lot of dudes. But one guy who you talk about snake bit, Marshawn Lloyd suffered a hamstring injury in practice last Friday. He is being shut down. He's actually being put back on injured reserve. He's being activated to the roster so he can be placed back on injured reserve and then possibly be brought back if they make a playoff run. True story. So the saga continues, Corey.
Jesus.
With Marshawn Lloyd.
I mean, it's
poor guy.
It's so funny how, and you wonder why the NFL is so hesitant to give guaranteed money.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because I mean, I'm not. It's so
incredible.
As an entrepreneur and as a businessman, and I know that the market bears what it's going to bear. But the idea that someone is making like 20 or 30 million, not Marshawn Lloyd, by the way.
Not Marshawn Lloyd. Right,
Let's be real.
Yeah, a lot of ball games left there for Marshawn.
But the fact, the fact that somebody can make that kind of money, right? And they're not, and they're rehabbing and they're working, right? But they're not really doing anything to help your team besides moral support,
winning
right?
And lose,
and,
right?
And it's just the nature of what it is. So it's not. I'm not complaining about it. It's mind blowing when you think about it, right? When you think about any other, there is no other workplace like the NFL, so you can't compare it to anything else. But every other sport has guaranteed money, and I think the push against guaranteed money is what you see right here, where you can't
control it, right? Injuries are 100%, no doubt. They are a way of life in the NFL, as the Packers are certainly going through this week in particular. One other note: the Packers have opened the practice window for John Williams. No, not the composer, the 7th-round pick offensive lineman, which I'm sure most folks had forgotten about.
I forgot
because he literally did not practice at all in training camp throughout the entirety of the season. He was out there at practice today. They have 21 days to activate him. I would be surprised if he contributes much this season, but it will be interesting to see if he gets a shot to get in the mix next summer. And then finally, Corey, I'm sure you saw this on your socials. J.J. Watt wanted to be a Packer. He was talking to Pat McAfee today about how he would have played for $5 million, but the Packers never made an offer.
Here's the thing.
2020.
Here's the thing, and I've seen some things around this. Okay. Agents are the worst. They're some of the worst people on earth because they're incentivized to get you the best deal, not what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Two different things. So
Very different things.
I would be surprised if an agent ever talked to the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, yeah.
Until that's confirmed, I'm not buying anything. Because, like, J.J. Watt is the kind of player who could say, I want to play here. And it's like, guy, they're not going to give you any – I don't know, what did the Cardinals give J.J. Watt? Like some crazy –
$14 million or something like that.
Okay, so 10% of $14 million is 1.2. Or 1.4. Can't even do math. But 1.4 million versus 500,000, or
a little different.
That is.
Little different. Little different. But look, we were fans of this idea when it was going on. Like, let the record reflect. We had a shirt said "Bring him home" with J.J. Watt 99 on it. Like, I love the idea, but I completely understand the Packers saying thanks, but no thanks. At that point in his career, they weren't getting Texans J.J. Watt. They were getting Cardinals J.J. Watt, which had a couple nice moments, no doubt about it. But he certainly was not
Cardinals
in his
J.J.
prime.
Watt. Right, but $5 million's kind of a nothing burger.
Yeah, but even that, like, comparative to the market, it's not it would have been a deep discount. I totally get it, but I also understand why the Packers passed. That's all.
I don't believe they actually passed. I feel like they would have made some kind of a lowball offer. I think it's one of those,
Well, that's the other component here. This is JJ talking on McAfee, and this is certainly from his vantage point. And he said he doesn't even know everything, right? He admitted that.
Yeah.
But I would love to get,
clip.
Maybe next summer when we have Brian Gutekunst on, we'll get his version of this.
Yeah,
story.
Did you ever hear that J.J. Watt wanted to be a Packer?
That would be an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
That's if he comes back on ever in the history of our life, because God knows. We're anathema to everybody inside 1265 Lombardi at this point. No one likes us, Corey.
That's not true. I know somebody I saw yesterday. I'm going to tell you, there's somebody I saw yesterday, and my new goal in life is to bench press more than this person, and they work at 1265. So this person knows who they are.
What a tease! What a tease!
This person knows who they are.
Clearly
and they're
not a player. Let's put it this way.
This person knows who they are, and they're watching this show and can tell this person. By the way.
All right. Exciting stuff. All right, let's talk about the offense, shall we? Let's talk about this Green Bay Packers offense. Man, things were humming in Denver there. And then, of course, all hell broke loose. Zach Tom gets hurt. Christian Watson goes down. Things really kind of fell apart there down the stretch. But most of it comes down to the offensive line. And that is even before Zach Tom goes down, but especially after Tom goes down. You talk about looking for a bounce-back performance. The offensive line as a group, no matter who ends up out there this Saturday night, they have got to play way better than they did on Sunday. And look, this is a group that has already faced the Bears front, fared pretty well. Now it's a different environment. You're on the road. It's going to be loud, especially when you're trying to operate as far as the checks and adjustments at the line of scrimmage. You're looking in as a tackle. Like it's a little harder this time around, but they definitely need to bounce back because there wasn't a guy there who covered himself in glory. Whether it was, Kennard coming in off the bench, who I thought actually held up kind of okay at first. But then once, the Broncos were able to pin their ears back and they knew the Packers were in a passing situation, it was rough, man. And that was, again, across the board. The interior, we had touted the improvement of the interior three of Banks, Ryan, and Belton. All three of those guys had a rough day at the office. And then, the penalties from Walker and a couple plays. You had a holding call, a couple plays where you got taken advantage of, which is going to happen because it is an amazingly talented front. You're playing in their yard. Yeah. But, man, it was just rough stuff across the offensive line last week. They got to be better on Saturday.
I mean, looking at some of the data, looking at Dusty Evely's Packers data suite, shout out Dusty Evely.
Shout out Dusty.
One of my favorite things this season. So Packers went hard to 11 personnel this last, just hard, and went away from a lot of their. They went away from their 600 stuff, which I thought was a little bit interesting, and they want to
get Jaden Reed on the field.
100%.
They want Jaden out there.
They went back to shotgun hard too. They were at a 47% shotgun rate last game, and they went up to 71%, which is only the third highest they've been in shotgun.
Way too much. Get on their
It's way too much shotgun, and their pass rate was 73%. It's the highest pass rate the Packers have had all season. When I say the highest rate, the next highest rate is 64%. So they were 9% higher, but 9% is a huge jump to be the highest to just go passing. And also, you could see it. Like, now I understand targeting and attacking the opponent that is the Denver Broncos, but we literally forgot, even in the first half of the game, it wasn't even like, oh, it's the second half. We forgot how to be under center and run the ball, which I definitely feel like that has given this offensive line time.
It's how they work. Yes, it's how they work best. I very much, when they're firing off and at least getting in a rhythm as far as not retreating for, like, all week. We talked about it last week on this show. This was a game you could not drop back 40-plus times and expect to win. Like, you had to be able to at least commit somewhat to the running game. And they ended up literally with 40 pass attempts. It's just against that team, you're asking for trouble. Now, obviously, with Tom going down, you would love to get back to some of that 6 O-lineman stuff, right? And I know Spoon asked Coach about that, and Matt's going to play coy, as he will. I'm not surprised. But I wouldn't be surprised if they actually roll out Kennard as their right tackle, but then bring in Morgan to play right tackle with Kennard as the 6 O-lineman intermittently throughout the game, because that formation and that personnel grouping has been way too successful for them to just junk it because Zach Tom went down. To my mind, they have to keep with that stuff.
Against the Bears, they played 6-1-1 21% of the time, and against Denver, they did 1.5%. So just right there, right? And then all of their 600s are down way in the 1% range. They went away from it. And, I get that we're out of running backs besides Josh Jacobs. I get Josh Jacobs is on a snap count. I totally understand that.
And Wilson was ill. Yeah.
I get it. And sometimes you have to do what you have. And I want to go back, though. I am doubling down on what I said in Watch Party, and I just think the nature of the NFL is such. There's a couple things that I think are really important and really important takeaways, because I believe that the Green Bay Packers offense takeaway, I think, one thing is if Christian Watson catches if the line holds up for one more half of a second.
One more second. One tick
like
more.
200 milliseconds, and Jordan Love can get the ball he wants to throw. He beats Surtain. He gets it to Watson in his hands, and there's something about I don't agree with the premise. I think that the premise that I think I'm trying to explain this the way I've thought about this a lot today. I thought this was yesterday on the Patreon happy hour as well.
Right.
I think there's a couple things that Matt LaFleur has learned really hard the last 18 months. And one of those things is we play fourth down teams, and we need to the new NFL are four down offenses. Right? The best offenses in the NFL, they play hard.
Unless it's
they
like
play
4th and 18 deep in your own end, you're probably going 100%. For it on fourth down.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, that's where we live.
There's rules.
That's
there's
where
still
the NFL
rules. We're not.
now.
We're not. Exactly. There's rules, right? But it's the rules of like even 2 years ago are out the freaking window, especially
totally
with the success of the Lions. So there's this aggressiveness, and what's amazing about the Packers is you've seen this in the last 6 weeks. Matt LaFleur, from a play calling standpoint, has learned that lesson playing the Carolina Panthers, playing the Lions twice, playing these teams that play like this. So that's one thing. But also, I think, unless it's the fourth quarter, this thinking that you are just going to start to play conservatively early in the third and be able to wear down a team like Denver, I don't think that is the right mentality, and I don't see this offense really taking that mentality. I think they look at that play and they go, man, had we just held up and Jordan was able to throw it a little longer, we made the right call, we made the right play, we did the right thing, and yes, the game turned on that play. But the other difference is, do we want to be a team that just gets like Denver is the kind of team, and the kind in general, if you look at them this season, I was watching some of their highlights from the previous. They're a team that they'll stab you, and they stab you late, and they just keep stabbing you, and you're bleeding, and you're trying to play this conservative game, and you lose. Like they've done this to everybody, and so I agree. Jordan I feel like it was the right call. How the NFL works is
it's
an unfortunate timing of events where you have this happen. You make the right call. That's aggressive, yes, but it's the right move. You have this happen, and then it's a cascading event of I do think the offense was shell shocked by that pick and then into Parsons getting injured and Watson getting injured on the play.
Yep.
You don't go through that every day. No team goes through. I mean, we all go through injuries, but you don't lose.
That's a lot in a short amount of time.
That's a lot to take in a short amount of time, especially when guys are on the field and they're guys. It's hard. It's a traumatic experience.
Well, speaking to that, did you read the quote from Evan Williams where he got hurt? His MCL sprain happened literally on the same play that Micah Parsons went down on. Same play. And he said at one point, he was like, why is only one guy coming? One trainer's over, like only one trainer's attending to me. And then he looked over and he saw like this army with Micah Parsons. And he was like, oh, right. He didn't realize that Micah was hurt because he was dealing with his own injury.
Yeah.
And so like speaking to the psyche of, that's the leader, man. That's your best player. And I think it did a big, between losing Watson and then losing Parsons in kind of quick succession. But to respond to what you're saying, 100%, I agree with everything you just said. What we talked about, I know, last night on Happy Hour and what I was very upset about on Watch Party, clearly, I have no problem with the call. I have no problem with the throw, the read, everything like that. It's just a question of preference. I said right before that drive, I would love a 7-minute drive, take the air out of the game, and just suffocate the Broncos in that instance, because every time they seem to want to try a kill shot, and they have tried several times, both with Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, they seem to come up short. Something seems to go wrong. Somebody drops the ball, or the protection doesn't hold up, or they get a holding call, which puts them behind the sticks. It's just a question of Matt LaFleur wanted to cut the head off right there. Right then and there, stab him, like the kill shot, cut off the head. I'm much more, let's just slowly suffocate these guys. And that's just preference, right? But to your point, you're 1,000,000,000% correct. There's nothing wrong with the call. There's nothing wrong with the read. There's a little bit wrong with the throw because the protection breaks down.
Well, and there's two things that I would say to that is one, clearly they baited, because I don't know how much. Clearly, they baited him to throw that. They showed him man. I think you're going to see a lot more of that when they show man and they're baiting him to do that. But I think he's going to beat you 9 out of 10 times. So keep baiting.
Well, that's the thing. Right? Watson has him by a step and a half. So it's like the Packers have won the down.
The only thing that I want to say
about the throw off.
I think any other team in the league, we can suffocate. I think that it was a clear target against the Denver Broncos and watching other teams not be able to suffocate them, right? Yeah. Because they have been down a lot early, and they're like known as a fourth, so I do think there's a little bit of that, right, that plays into it, because I think normally we have seen the Packers, play to suffocate a team when we're up that much,
No doubt. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, but you're right about the Broncos and being team-specific. This team that has come back in the fourth quarter so many times this year. I mean, hell, what did they come back from 19 down against the Giants in the fourth quarter?
You got to kill them. You got to keep hurting them.
Yeah,
you got to. Yeah. That's kind of the way you have to
maximum pain.
And if they weren't, and if they weren't the best team in the NFL, arguably, right, then I wouldn't be saying this, right? I don't think you have to play the Rams that way. I don't think you have to play the Bears that way.
The Rams
are
up on the Bears, though. They're right there.
No, they're good, but you can suffocate them, is what I'm saying.
I got something for you. There you go. Come on now.
Nice.
Let's do it. Need a little carry the G after all that football talk. That's good stuff. You know what? One way they can take advantage of this Bears team, something they didn't have available to them last time they faced the Bears defense, is Matthew Golden. His time to shine, man. How good did he look against the Broncos in limited opportunity? This kid, I mean, with Watson playing, there's going to be a choice to make if you're the defensive coordinator. If you're the defense lining up and who's got who and what you Dennis Allen likes to play a lot of man. Matthew Golden could have a game, man, because you got to think they're going to have you would suspect they'd have a different approach when it comes to Christian Watson this time around after he burned them twice for touchdowns. I got to think Matthew Golden's going to have some solo opportunities here, rolling coverage to Watson's side.
I just don't think that they've learned their lesson. I think they love to play man, and I think if you play man against this quarterback and our freaking offensive line can give him just a little bit of time, they're going to burn. Right. They're going to burn down to the ground. They do not respect our quarterback. They don't. And they play like they don't.
Yes. Right. And that leads to the final point on offense. It's Jordan Love's time, man. This is it. Like, Parsons goes down. You've got all these injuries. As you were saying at the top of the show, we still have a quarterback. We still have a really good fucking quarterback. And I understand people are going to point to that game in Denver. That's fine. You can do it. But I don't care. Jordan Love is one of the best quarterbacks in the league still. And this is going to be a great opportunity for Jordan to showcase that, I can still lead this team and I can still operate at a high level despite all this stuff swirling around the team, injury-wise, who's in, who's out, etc., some suspect protection, blah, blah, blah. Jordan can still tear this Bears defense apart, and I fully expect him to. And it's his time to shut up so many people. I can't wait.
The thing about a game like Denver that doesn't bother me is that if you look at any game Jordan has been down, what he learns coming out of that, he's clearly still
the response
on the
is usually
the response is huge, and also we can 100% outscore the Bears. Here's the thing, the reality of today is, one, I think everybody forgets Micah Parsons was not in camp. So, let's go back to our camp defense. We literally, what were we doing at the end of July into August for 6 weeks? We had a
6
defense.
weeks of camp. Yep.
We threw it away, basically, because we didn't put Micah in we made a new defense. Let's be real, right? We got this guy. He's a $188 million powerhouse. We made a new defense. Okay, so we're going to go back to that. But here's the thing, if the Packers the Packers have always been an offensive team. Always. Yep. Okay, maybe not in 1966 or in 1962.
Right. Since
but in our lifetime,
revitalization in the early 90s, they have been an offensive-led team. 1,000%.
And so if we're going to do this, and nothing really changed. The thing that changed is that our offensive line is more confusing than it was before.
Right.
Rasheed Walker is not the answer at left tackle, but we just got to make do with what we have. And you can't have a 74% pass rate for your offense. Hello? That's not how this works. That hasn't worked all season. Why would it work now? That's what blows my mind. And I know some of that is coming back in the last. It would probably if we wouldn't have had
down,
what happens in the
ball.
third and fourth quarter, maybe but still it's really high. 63% is high.
Corey, I'm glad you brought that up because this kind of blew my mind because I remember feeling it kind of while we were doing Watch Party and we were watching it live, but I didn't really appreciate how insane the final 3 drives were. They were down 8. They were down a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Matt was calling plays like they were down 3 touchdowns. Like, just run your offense. Run the ball. Stay ahead of the sticks.
Well, I wonder how much of that is because
the defense kept getting stops and they could not operate.
Is it a lack of available running backs? Is that why he went into this game like that?
Running okay? I don't know. Like,
what's crazy to me is
Brooks had 2 carries, averaging 5 yards a carry. Like, I don't know.
Wait, how many did he have?
2 carries. He had 2 carries.
Oh, I was like, he didn't have that many carries. I was like,
carries.
5 yards on 2 carries.
Wilson had 2 carries, and Jacobs had 12 carries on the entire game.
I mean, what's funny is when you say I didn't see this in the game, I didn't see the fact that like our pre-snap motion rate went up. Like so many things. Like we clearly were working hard on 11 personnel shit, which is typically mostly passing when we're in that, but we definitely came. I really don't think the 73% pass rate is 100% based on reactions in that game. I do think we went into that game wanting to pass. It was very clear.
Well, but to your point, it's funny. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of it right now, but I'm pretty solid that the big touchdown run that Jacobs has, they're in 11 personnel. Because remember, they have that shot of Dobbs pointing to who to block on the outside, and that's 2 receivers there, and I think there's somebody on the backside who's not in the picture. But yeah, you can still commit to the run. You can still run the ball out of 11, right? Like
100%,
they can't, 100%. Right? But yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like that seemed to be the plan, certainly, and maybe it does kind of is a reaction to the fact that Jacobs is banged up and Wilson's puking, and they're just not feeling good about the run game. Entirely possible. But I got to think on Saturday night, they got to commit to running the football because it's only going to help everything else with the offense. Even if they're only getting 2-3 yards a carry, just keep the linebackers and the safeties somewhat honest. That should help and pay dividends as the game goes on. Very much with you on that.
I mean, that's their offense. That's what's kind of weird. Like
it is. Well, when it's successful, when it has been successful.
Yeah, the offense you saw last Sunday was a little bit of an anomaly in a lot of ways. Maybe it is the future, right? Maybe it is where he wants to be. But I don't think realistically the Packers are living in that world for a little while until we get
couldn't agree more.
Solid left tackle at least.
Flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, it is time for Jeff Hafley to dig into the bag, baby. I kind of joked after the game in my post-game chat, like he's like Indiana Jones going into the tomb and dusting off like an ancient artifact. But, I mean, everything is on the table now. It's stuff that we saw, a lot of the simulated pressure stuff, hopefully a few more kind of corner blitzes, not something we haven't seen a ton of. We saw some of it like week 1, actually. But mostly it's been, we're going to rush 4, and occasionally we'll blitz, but everything's got to be on the table, especially – I would think the one thing I really want to see some more of now that Parsons is gone and you got to generate pass rush, let's get Edgerrin Cooper going through that A-gap. Let's get Cooper after the quarterback a little bit more. Something that seemed to be a pretty regular occurrence last year. We've seen precious little of it this season, and I'm pretty sure that's a response to, we've got Micah Parsons. But now without Parsons, Edgerrin Cooper's probably your best athlete up there in your front. Get him after the quarterback, man. Especially this week with a quarterback who is as athletic as Caleb Williams is. Like, this is a game where I would love Cooper to get after the QB.
Yeah, and Cooper be the spy. We definitely need it, especially
spy
when he
a little
rolls
bit,
to his right.
Or just send him, and then have a set of traps
on when he goes to his right on a bootleg, like delay.
The right,
make it look like
the
he's
right
in
is so real, dude. The right is such a issue.
I brought
Good
this
Lord.
up. Everybody gave me especially Nagler gave me like a look because I get a little bored during the Patreon happy hour because it feels like everybody's like a negative Nelly. Everybody's so negative, and they all have to be like, "Well, here's how I felt about I was."
They have to get it off their chest. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but I'm not a fucking shrink, okay? So here's the thing. So while I'm not being a shrink doing my time in the Patreon happy hour prison,
right.
I made a comment. Last season, the Packers had 45 sacks. This season, they have half that number. And this is an opportunity. So, I brought this up with some people at the place I work out at because they were like, Corey, take me off the ledge. And I was like, we did get some sacks last season. And when I looked at it, we got a lot. Yeah. Nagler, most people, I watched this TikTok of people talking to me about pressures and numbers of pressures based on Parsons when he's in and out. But I don't think that's honestly a good way to look at it. I know because it's just the way. Well, I just don't think it's a good way to look at it only because, like I said before, we have a different defense right now.
Very
we had
different.
a defense with Micah Parsons, and we had a different defense that we had for training camp. So we don't do the different defense when we had Micah out. We have the same defense, right? So now without Micah, we're going to go back probably to our training camp defense, which is a completely different defense.
Well, and to your point, that you can look at those sack numbers, the fact that they are about half, that is in large part because of how teams play the Packers defense, because they know they got to get the ball out of their hand quick. You've heard how many times we heard Micah after games talking about, I think there were a handful of actually true drop back sets where he could pin his ears back and the defense could pin its ears back and get after the quarterback. That's just a byproduct of having Parsons and having a defensive front four that they know there's going to be pressure, there's going to be kind of limited time to sit back there, so you don't have as many opportunities to pin your ears back, rush the quarterback, because they're not calling 5-7 step drops because they know that's death.
But there's also some other green shoots that I saw in some of that data for me. One, Enigbare and Cooper, to your point, are down on sacks for the year. Devontae Wyatt, you'd be like, oh, well, Wyatt's out. Well, Wyatt had 4, and now he has 4. So he's kind of he had the same amount.
It's a wash, right.
Kenny Clark only had 1 sack last year. What blew my mind is, can you believe this? Rashawn Gary has the same amount of sacks that he had last year. And that blew my mind. I was like, how is that possible?
I can't believe that, actually. I can
how
totally
is that
believe
possible?
that.
He had 7.5 sacks. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I know.
That's a lot of sacks.
And he had 4 coming out of the gate this year. And then he's had like 3 the rest of the way.
Yeah, 100%. But here's the thing. There's room to grow for the defensive line now that the amazing Lion that we had is no longer here.
No longer. Aslan has been on the table and been sacrificed, and now we're gonna go win Narnia. That's what's gonna happen.
I just think it's so funny. Like, what you got to do if you're like depressed right now, because I'm not anymore. I'm not depressed. I was depressed for like a second. I wasn't depressed after the game. I was annoyed, and then that morning.
And then you took
really
that
depressed.
shower and you got depressed.
No, it was when I woke up. I was really depressed, and then then the internet. The internet is like internet is undefeated because as soon as if you said the season was over and I saw it, I probably blocked you. So, not you, but other people. If you the season
I would
is
never
over,
say that.
I know you didn't. But there were people who I could not believe. Okay, of course Peter fucking Bukowski's going to say the season's over because he's actually fucking king of the world. Moron. But then
we just had peace in our time with you and Pete talking about Ike
peace.
Packers and needing everyone to unfollow Ike Packers.
There's nothing more annoying.
No,
fuck peace with that guy. There's nothing more annoying. Okay, there's nothing more annoying in this ecosystem than all the Debbie Downers in this ecosystem. It's like, did you forget that we had a training camp? I seriously feel like people forgot August completely. They were like, "Oh yeah."
I feel you.
You know what? I didn't forget it. I remembered how I felt pre-camp. I remember how I felt in camp. I remember when Matt LaFleur brought wine to my house. I remember all of these things. Okay?
That's it, Corey. See, that's the piece that people are missing here. The Packers are going to win the Super Bowl because Matt LaFleur brought wine to your house. See, this is how it works.
And I didn't drink it. And because I didn't drink it.
It's still there. It is not decanted. Still cork in.
It's just like it blows my mind the people who write and talk and entertain about the Green Bay Packers, okay?
Right.
and they're like have to be the first to be
Rushing.
right about the
Yes,
downfall
rushing.
of the Green Bay Packers.
Rushing to say that the season is over. Rushing to be the first person to say, it's all over.
My job's done,
Parsons
you guys.
is gone. There's nothing to see here. Might as well go home. With 3 games left.
Lord.
And they win on Saturday night. They're in first place in the division.
Yeah, and we already beat the Lions twice, and we beat the Vikings once, and we beat the Bears once.
I mean,
so
what
we're
are
already
we doing here? That's what blew my mind,
insane.
Corey. I'm with you. Like, the rush, the need to be the first to say, it's over, kids, sorry. Like, when it's so far from over. Just unbelievable. I mean, I say unbelievable. It's totally believable.
It's totally believable because, unfortunately, despite the machinations of one Jason Wilde, unfortunately, the people that live in this ecosystem aren't even fucking Packers fans. They're Bears fans. How the fuck? How in the actual fuck do you get to talk about the Packers in the state of Wisconsin and on your Twitter handle it says you're a Bears fan? How does that work? Someone explain it to me, because in New York that shit wouldn't fucking fly.
Well, generally, they know someone who has employed them, and they get paid to do so, and they generate outrage such like you're displaying here, and that's a win for them.
Yeah, well, they should be fired. You should not employ Bears fans to talk about the Packers. Sorry. You should not be allowed. Okay, I got a good one here.
All right,
got a good one.
Tell me.
You should not be allowed to talk about the Green Bay Packers in the state of Wisconsin if you are a fucking Bears fans for a living. Okay? You should get taxed like a noiser. It's like that Door County tax. It's like that Door County tax that I want. Like if you have a Illinois license plate.
That's a tax. Oh my god.
Yeah, noiser tax.
Oh, is this what you're going to do?
You want to be a radio host in Madison, but you're a Bears fan? $100,000 tax. Fucking douchebags. Can't stand these people. Can't stand them.
Oh my god. I can't. All right. To be clear, Corey Behnke's statements here are his own opinion. They do not reflect everything about Cheesehead TV. However, his passion is appreciated and certainly noteworthy when he talks about the fact that there are way too many people who are employed to talk about the Packers for a living who have automatically jumped to, it really feels like the season's over. Like the season's over. It's all over. Like, there are 3 more games left. Nothing's over. There's a lot of ball game left. Nothing drives me more insane than what you were alluding to earlier, the need to rush to be right, quote unquote, rather than, hey, maybe let's let it play out. Hey, their back is against the wall. How do they respond? Big game coming up on Saturday night. You know, team that they know, team that they beat a couple weeks ago. Let's see how they do down a bunch of dudes and in hostile territory. That's compelling. That's engage or should be engaging. Not, oh, season's over. That drives me insane. That shit drives me insane.
It's ridiculous. No, what's the only thing I'll say further on that is that can we just get some qualifications going in the state of Wisconsin, please? Just some. Like, God, if you're going to talk about the Packers, can you know something about Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the Green Bay Packers? And can you just not be a hater? That's all I ask. Because we got a bunch of haters in this ecosystem.
See what's so funny, Corey? This is my point. This is my point. Wait,
and they think they're telling the truth. By the way.
Yes. No. Well, that's always the I'm just telling it like it is. No, you're not. No, you're talking about like what is existing in your world and your worldview, which is fine. But I love how everyone on the chat is like, "Who's he talking about?" This is my point. No one knows this Bears fan dude that has clearly gotten under your skin. But now you've elevated it to the point where there are going to be people on this chat going and trying to figure out who you're talking about who never knew this dude existed, that now you have made the main character. Congratulations. That's a win for him.
I understand. But you know what?
What?
Sometimes you just got to fight the good fight, Nagler. You know?
Sometimes you do. Sometimes
I want to be in the fight. The fight is real. Just because they're little small mushrooms or little small seedlings doesn't mean, and just because I'm like watering them right now, I'm gonna ignore them.
You're gonna harvest that shit eventually?
No, I'm not gonna harvest it. No one's gonna harvest it because it doesn't get Packer fans anything. There is something to be said about just being aware of the fact that if you consume that type of content, it's just not
bad
good
for your soul. Bad for your soul as a Packers fan.
Like, do it. Go for it. If that's what you feel like, do it. You fan how you want to fan. I'm not the gatekeeper fan. I'm done with that kind of language. I haven't had that kind of language in 10 years on this show. Mm-hmm. It's been a hot minute since I've been trying to gatekeep anybody or even sound like I'm gatekeeping.
No doubt.
But it boggles my mind. It's always boggled my mind. Someone that I was born here, but I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up in North Carolina. Right. Then I went to school in North Carolina, and then I grew up in New York. What boggles my mind is the ability for the people of Wisconsin to put up with mediocrity when it comes to media and entertainment. And I just think that needs to stop. So if that means me calling out mediocrity is elevating the mediocrity, good. Because I want everyone to see how fucking mediocre it is and how fucking amateur it is so that we can stop consuming it.
Passionate words from Corey Behnke, and we are so off the rails here time-wise. We got to get to, first of all, I want everyone to make sure they subscribe to the Cheesehead TV Nation newsletter going out tomorrow morning, each and every week, every Thursday morning. Andy and I break down this Bears contest for all our diehard members. Make sure you're subscribed. There's a link in the description of this video to do so. And let's get to Blogosphere. Let's hit it.
This week in the Packer Blogosphere.
That's right. It's This Week in the Packer Blogosphere, the return of that venerable series brought to you by Luigi's Pizza. Luigi's is a Wisconsin-born pizza brand crafted by pizza enthusiasts with local cheeses and a flavor that stood the test of time since 1968. Across all their lines, they focus on real Wisconsin cheese, crisp crusts, and easy oven prep, making every pizza night a little simpler and a lot tastier. I highly recommend checking out the Mighty Meaty with Wisconsin mozzarella, Italian sausage, ham, pepperoni, and bacon crumbles. Corey, my dad and I had some last time I was home. Holy cow, the Mighty Meaty. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm all about it. All right, a lot to get to here in Blogosphere, starting with Micah Parsons himself tweeting out this simple image and the word September. Come on now. Come on. That's powerful right there. That's a man who understands social media right there. I love this.
Oh, yeah.
September, dude. Oh, I can't wait till he's wrecking quarterbacks again. Cannot wait. Now, obviously, the Packers play Saturday night. Chicago Bears, old school rivalry. We've had a lot of folks send us a lot of stuff over the years, Corey. But I got to admit, Glenn sending us this tweet last night, one of the highlights of being part of Cheesehead TV. I'm not exaggerating.
Glenn just takes it to another level.
Another fucking level. Like
that guy
was legit. It legit stopped me in my tracks. I was here with Sarah. We were just hanging out, like doing our stuff late at night, blah, blah, blah. And I said, honey, you got to see it. Like, I could not.
We need to do it. We need to get this on a YouTube video on our channel.
100%. Let's take a look at this. Glenn
That's genius.
Salu. That
Dude,
is
well, I love
incredible.
how he has the carry the G's, and also he's wearing the Green Bay shirt, one of my favorite shirts.
The Green
that we've
Bay
ever made.
tourism
Green Bay palm
shirt,
trees.
right?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean,
I
Glenn
love
is
that shirt.
Glenn is a one of one.
Genius.
Glenn,
One of
cannot
one,
thank you enough
100%.
for that, man. That was fucking awesome. Absolutely love it. And then on the classical musical tip, I got this on TikTok and I was dying. Let's take a look. I'm sorry. It's so good. It's so good. Like, there were so many people, like, obviously wallowing in the news that Parsons was done for the year, etc. But there was also, this is a TikTok sound that I've seen a bunch, but this killed me. Let's take a look.
Why would y'all lose and I had the outfit on? Why would y'all lose and I had the outfit on? Now I look like a fucking loser. Now I look and feel like a fucking loser.
So good. It's so good. Finally, good friend, longtime ally, and fantastic Packers content creator, Matt Ramage is using his platform to do some good this holiday season. Take a look at this.
What's up, everybody? It is freezing out here, but I got this nice coat on, you know what I mean, to stay warm. But a lot of kids around Wisconsin don't have that. So I teamed up with Warm Kids Wisconsin. We're helping not just with jackets, with snow pants, with boots, the whole deal. And he's helping a lot of people all across Wisconsin, donating to schools. You can donate directly. He buys everything. He sends it to the schools. And also he has an Amazon wish list. You know what I mean? Even the camera guy getting a little shaky out here with the cold. You know what I mean? But let's do some good things. You know what I mean? Kids are freezing out here. Let's stop it. My son's doing the video and he's freezing out here. He's got a coat. You know what I mean? Let's make sure all the kids in Wisconsin have coats. And be sure to check out Warm Kids Wisconsin on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the places. He's doing great work. And I'm glad to be helping him a little bit, being a partner. Here we go. Let's warm up some children.
There is a link in the description of this video for you to check out everything Warm Kids Wisconsin is doing, including how to donate, how to spread the word, etc. Outstanding stuff from Matt. Love to see it. Love to help. So,
well, and we pushed.
Do what you can.
We talked on the show, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe last week, about Edger and Cooper's Toys for Kids.
Yeah, the toy drive. Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to Kyle Cousineau, who basically solicited donations. I think he got like $2,600. It's over $2,000.
Got over $2,000. Yeah.
And I love the shot. There's a shot of him and his two daughters. Well, just his two daughters, and they have like shopping cart full of like board games and all this stuff. So, talk about Packer fans,
man.
taking things that the Packers are doing, and not just the Packers, but trying to.
'Tis the season,
trying to
baby.
do some good.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, what's going on the old YouTube chat, Corey? People love it.
Well, I will say, Marina wants you to put it on Blue Sky, by the way. She wants you to.
I saw that. I'll do what I can. I gotta talk to Glenn first, but
I don't think
I will
Glenn's
do so.
on Blue Sky. B. Marsh, pros and cons of signing Judon.
The pro is he'd probably be dirt cheap. The con is that he's washed.
Hey. Bill P. All of us hope they win. Some of us don't think they will. Come on, people. It's the freaking Bears.
There you go, Bill. Come on, Bill.
The Bears have to be the most fraudulent regular season team of the NFL this season.
Well,
I don't know what the record is. What is their record?
They run the ball well.
Whatever their record is. Yeah, they're the most fraudulent 10-4 team in the NFL. That's what I was trying to say.
All right. I got it.
Got to go PFF with that.
PFF
E4 K-Town. Yo, Santa. All I want is to take that smug smile off of Bears fans here in Bearland.
There you go. Speak it, buddy.
You know what's really funny? Yeah, the fact that we beat the Bears, but they're still like it's like
shit.
That game never happened. It's so hilarious.
Because they beat the Browns, Corey. They're so pumped up, and they're going to beat the Packers this time. Now
we would have beat
Packers
the Browns
with
Shedeur Sanders.
But exactly. Thank you. Like, they have barely a functioning NFL offense, and they're like, "Well, we beat the Browns." Like, okay, great. That team gave up months ago. Like, oh, great, well done.
Yeah, when we played them, it was like it was the beginning of the season.
It was week 3, and they had an actual quarterback. Like, it's week 15, and they have already booked their plans for Cancun. Like, that game was over before it began. Stop. You beat the Browns. Great, well done. Hang the Bears.
It is funny how, it is when you play people, right? Justin.
It is, always.
J.J. Watt would have signed with us for $5 million, and instead we decided to rely on Zadarius A. Wall Smith. Thank you, Goody. Okay, Justin.
Oh, thank you, Goody. You mean the guy who traded for Micah Parsons? Get out of here with this. Come on now. I love this. Like, we're still going to rip Goody? Really? Really?
Also, we said this earlier, but there's a lot we don't know that's gray about all of that. Like,
he would have signed for
that's
$5
like
million.
me saying. That's like me saying, "Hey Nagler, you know what? I really want to get Jordan Love on the show.
We should do that."
And then everybody's like, "Well, Corey wanted to get Jordan on the show.
Corey wanted to get Jordan Love on the show,
and you guys didn't even make an
Jordan
offer.
Love didn't ever come on the show."
Really?
Love it.
FMCH, do you think we'll see more Tyron Hopper on Saturday?
Doubtful. I mean, we'll see a bunch of him on special teams, but man, he's been playing such limited snaps. I think he had 1 snap this past week. I don't know, man. I do think they're going to play a bunch of 3 linebacker sets, but I think that 3rd linebacker is going to be Isaiah McDuffie.
Oh, I got Kyle's here. Sorry, I'm putting Kyle's in the queue. Reliable random. Next man up. Time to destroy all the Bears' hopes and dreams. Shut them up until next season. Packers to the bowl, bruh. Let's fucking go, Pack go.
Let's go. See, that's the attitude. That's what we like to hear.
Joe Mailman. Corey needs to set up higher so we can see his shirt says the Bears still suck. All I can see is the Bears. Yeah, but you can tell it's
but you know it's implied. Come on. It's in green and gold, for God's sakes. You know what it says.
I'm wearing this tonight.
You're going to be okay.
I'm going to UWGB men's game at the invitation of a person who has season tickets. So, and I'm going to be wearing exactly what you see here. And last night I was at the bowling alley, Schwaben bowling alley. Holy moly, was that packed! And that's like one of the biggest bowling alleys in the state of Wisconsin. That thing was packed to the gills. Every bowling, dude, they have like 35. They have like 40 lanes there, and everyone was taken on a Tuesday night in frickin' Schwaben, bro. Yeah,
there
exactly.
It was.
And anyway, I had my bear down from this year, so from Brent.
Love to see
Lombardi.
It. Absolutely love it.
Lombardi slapping a bear. Your Honor, so with all the injuries, we could carry 2 kickers. Unrelated, is there a rushing linebacker tree we can shake? I still believe. Sounded like you were number 4
known as Edrin Cooper. That's Edrin Cooper's your answer there. Come on now.
Also, don't hate on Enigbari, by the way.
Yeah, at all. Love Enigbari.
Nash Jack, I know it won't happen. Give me Big Dog Lewis. Go Pack go.
You're right. It's not going to happen. I love the idea, but it ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Dustin Logan, I know Watson is a bit injury prone, but can we give the man the credit he deserves for fighting through injuries and keeps getting on the field? Go Pack go. I agree.
Yeah, man, absolutely. When he's out
SOB.
there. He's a tough SOB. The soft tissue stuff is what's been the problem. And mostly that's been, taken care of. So, I have zero issue with, does he take some hits and does he go down? Yeah, sure. But then he always fights through it and comes back, i.e. this Saturday night where he's going to be playing when he was in the fucking hospital on Sunday. Like, I'm down with Christian Watson, man.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Braden Loya, we need to be way better in the red zone. We can't expect to win games against good teams kicking field goals. Need more short passes, screens, and runs. Yeah.
See, that's interesting you say all of that, this short passes, screens, and runs. Now, runs, I 1,000,000,000% agree. Just slam Josh Jacobs. I'm in on this. Short passes and screens in particular require timing, and they require people in sync. And, man, some of the procedural stuff kind of crept back into the Packers offense on Sunday, and that needs to get nipped in the bud. You got to be able to. And also, shout out Dusty Evely, who did a phenomenal piece over at Acme Packing Company regarding the miss to Romeo Dobbs and Dobbs' route depth and how the little things matter. The attention to detail matters in the red zone. Like, if you haven't checked that out, make sure you do because it's excellent. But to your point, Braden, yes, they have to be better in the red zone. No one's more aware of that than Matt LaFleur. I guarantee you that.
I mean, speaking of Dusty Evely, looking in the down and distance meter, 18.2% success rate in the red zone. that game. And
That's
the game before it,
yikes.
we had a 33%, which is just as shitty, by the way. And
it's not great.
Honestly, we've been living in a 50 to 60. We're really, when we're successful, we're living in, I mean, we had a 100% game 5 weeks ago. But usually we've been living in 77 to 66% in last two games.
Which isn't terrible. That's not terrible. But, yeah.
33% is ass.
33%
is ass. Yeah.
No doubt.
And it's funny because you look at the top plays we're running, pinwheel, smash fade, lion, post wheel, sail. Those all seem like a little bit more, there's some shorter concepts in there. I don't know that's the concept so much.
But it's like,
yeah,
you gotta block it up. They tried to hit a wide receiver screen against the Broncos in the red zone, and it got completely blown up. Like
we've ran
do better.
We've ran 18 tight end screens in the red zone and 7 running back screens. But then I love, we love the jet sweeps in the red zone. 9 of those. Oh, man. Like, just burn them. Burn them down.
Burn it with no, dude. Just the short side pitch, the pitch on 3rd and 1, burn all of that. I'm so over all of that.
Well, and you know the number one thing we run in the red zone, right? What's the number one thing we run anytime?
What, inside zone?
Yep, inside zone.
Yeah,
our number one thing we run is inside zone. Our number 2 thing we run is wide zone. Mike Witt. Forget about Rashawn. We need Bane for the rest of the season. Yeah, we need.
There you go.
When Rashawn makes plays, we need to bring back. Bane voice. I think.
Bane voice needs to
just
reappear.
Give us a little. I think
needs to happen. I'll make sure that happens on Saturday.
Because Brent did a great job with Rashawn's Bane Gary.
So good, but we need that character to reappear.
We need that character. We need him back. Rich Harris, I bared down on a Bears logo this morning. Go back.
Outstanding. Phenomenal.
FMCH, Glenn Kraken carry the G, chef's kiss. Yeah, when he, especially on the moment, it's right after the Bears.
The way he does it,
and then he chugs it. I didn't see the drinking
video.
it until the 3rd time. Yeah, it took me a while because I was watching the other ones.
Good.
Mike Witt, I wonder what 1265 guy thinks about our chances the rest of the year. Still want to know who Behnke is talking about that is a Bears fan talking about Packers, ? I'll never tell you. You can find out on Twitter. If you look on Twitter, I do a quote tweet about the guy that I basically say, yeah, spin your narrative, Bears. I don't say Bears fan, but that's who it is. Wait, is 1265 Lombardi guy, is he gone? Is he off TikTok?
No, he's still around. No, he's still gone. I just got one of his TikToks the other day.
Well, what does he think about our chances the rest of the year?
I have no idea.
Don't you follow him on TikTok? Don't you religiously wait till he uploads?
No. Should I?
I don't know. You like the guy. You like his content.
It was fine. I think it's fine. I'm not like you. I don't if I don't care for it and I don't need it, I don't just destroy the guy on air. I just keep scrolling. That's just me.
I don't keep scrolling. I hold down TikTok.
I'm aware.
And then I put not interested. And if I really don't like it, I report it.
I just love the idea of an image of someone at TikTok headquarters being like, well, there's a Packers fan here who's really not happy about this Bears content creator. Let's send him more Bears stuff. That's probably how that's working.
Of course. That's why I keep getting it. I keep getting ESPN Madison.
Stop, that stuff you say, stop sending me. They're sending you more of it because you've said that. I have zero doubt.
I'm easily rage baitable.
I am aware. Lieutenant Dan of our Patreon happy hour is also well aware.
Honestly, I'm
weekly,
not.
Weekly Behnke bait is almost always on.
I will say I'm only easily rage baitable when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. That's what's kind of funny. When you actually get
that's true.
People meet me and they're like, "Wait, you're not the person I thought." And it's literally I only get rage baity about the Packers. There's something about the Packers, and it's just yeah. Otherwise, I don't really. Yeah. Kyle Cousineau, 2,600 and 210 games delivered them yesterday. Let's go.
Outstanding work, Kyle. Good job, buddy. Phenomenal stuff. The Edrin Cooper toy drive. So good. Well done, Kyle.
Dude, I wonder what percentage of the drive was just Kyle and Packers fans on Twitter. That's a big ratio, I feel like.
I love it.
Danny G. Behnke Bait has finally broke him. Matt LaFleur wine, Bukowski, Wildy, and Wisco Bears fan just need to sprinkle in his illegal seedlings and my McManus jersey. Oh, you're the McManus jersey guy from Fox Harbor?
Probably.
I wonder if anybody's ever got to that. I wonder if anybody has ever showed.
Does this guy know?
Does he know what happened? Does he know he almost got free tickets and a signed jersey from Brandon McManus? Does he even have any clue? Is he just like ice fishing right now and has no clue? He went deer hunting last weekend. He has no idea.
He has no clue. He's just living his life, Corey.
He has no idea that 14 million impressions saw the back of his jersey.
On Twitter, we're like, who's this guy at Fox Harbor?
Well, it's funny when
on a
people
Tuesday
were like,
afternoon.
I think that's my friend Bob, or that was going around for a little while.
That's so good.
I think I know that guy.
Friend Bob.
I mean, was he at Fox Harbor in November? Was he at Fox Harbor in November for lunch?
If so, he could be due some compensation.
Oh, Steve Anthony, win with who you've got. Let's fucking go.
Let's go, Steve-O. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. Good shit.
Mike Witt, adjusting my expectations. Beat the Bears and Vikings to go 6-0 in division.
Whatever floats your boat, man. My expectation is Super Bowl. Let's go.
What were your expectations before Mike Witt, Eeyore number 2? Like
I know, like the Eeyore who supposedly was expecting a Super Bowl win, but he's an Eeyore. Like, how does this work? That feels incongruous.
6-0 in the division would be nice. Like, we'll be in a good spot for the playoffs, no matter what.
Correct.
Like, divisional winner is a great place to be in the playoffs.
Hosting a playoff game. That's where we'll be. I'm down with this.
It's one of the most. I would say it's one of the most important. Besides a Super Bowl, a home playoff game is the greatest gift the Green Bay Packers can give to Northeast Wisconsin. It is one of those things where that's the real Christmas for people.
And it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah. Aaron Harper, go Pack, go! Just win. Bears still suck.
There you go, Aaron. Come on now.
Mike Witt, random Packer, Mossy Cade.
What? Why? God, now that's an Eeyore. That's a fucking Eeyore right there.
Well, he's coming back. Mike Witt, who does Behnke...
He was like 6-0 in the division, Mossy Cade. Like, what?
Who does Behnke not like more, 1265 Lombardi guy or the cigarette guy? Okay, first off, I have no hard feelings against either of those people. And Siggy guy, I don't even think I could recognize. See, even if we took the footage,
lineup. Are you kidding me?
I couldn't.
No chance.
If he came to my house and was like,
he was literally that meme, that Family Guy meme of Peter in the corner with the cigarette lit. Like that's like an outline with a cigarette. Like that was it. We just saw a shadowy figure.
Yeah,
that was
he's a shadowy figure. Yeah, I don't even think we see him on. We don't have him on the broadcast. Like if he just showed up at my house with like a friend of mine, I would have no clue. Zero clue.
Nope. And also, then like halfway through the evening, he'd be like,
Lombardi,
I'm a cigarette guy.
And then he'd get kicked out. And then I would be like, goodbye. Bye-bye. But no, this 1265 Lombardi guy, he's just funny because he's just walking around the neighborhood, and I just think he's funny. I don't have any hate for him in my heart. It's just weird. Now, if you ask me, I mean, there are other people that you could have put on this list, and I would have been very.
There you go.
I would not have liked them.
Very true.
Imagine if those two did a podcast together someday. Yeah, we'd have it on Cheesehead TV.
We would finally learn what the cigarette guy sounds like. It'd be good.
Yeah, and then he can just bum cigarettes. I don't know.
What compelling content! Incredible.
That's all we got.
Oh, is that it? Is that everything?
That's all.
Shout out to our Patreon members. There we go. Yes, you guys keep Corey Behnke and Fresh Carry the G. We really appreciate it. You are truly the lifeblood of everything Cheesehead TV does throughout the brand. Thank you so much. Along with Carry the G Club members here on YouTube, thank you for hanging with us each and every week for watch parties and for joining us on the happy hour. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. You got anything else before we head out into the evening, Corey?
Well, see you in 3 days.
There you
Saturday
go.
night.
That's what I'm talking about. That'll do it for this episode of Packer Transplants. We'd like to thank everyone who makes Cheesehead TV part of their daily Packers routine. We are and will always be devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.
I think it's a fluid situation, and I know you guys love it, especially Nagler. I can see you smirking at me right there. We're going to take it one day at a time, and just it's going to be fluid, though. That's all I can tell you.